Welcome, welcome, and thank you for joining us today on Tech and Tequila. I am super excited. We are now into the month of May. This year is going by crazy fast. And in the month of May, we are going to focus on your communications tech stack. And what do I mean by that? So we are going to focus on UCaaS, which is Unified Communications as a Service. We're going to focus on CPaaS, which is Communications Platform as a Service. And last but not least, we are going to focus on Ccast, which is Call Center as a Service. And not to dance or rain on anyone's parade, but some of the breaking news that came the tail end of April was NEC said we are going to wind down our on-prem phone system sales. Now, it's not going to happen tomorrow. So if by chance you are a business owner or your business has a older NEC on-prem phone system, let's say you got last year, or even let's say you got it in 2018, it's not over and done for tomorrow. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of briefly summarize some of what they said. I'm going to give you a couple of dates that are going to talk about, here's what their philosophy is on winding down. Real quickly, I'm going to go over kind of my experience with this in the past. And then I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that NEC decided to make this choice. So first and foremost, they basically said that recently we announced that we are going to wind down our on-premise UC business. And they said, we're going to do this in order to focus all our efforts on our Univerge Blue cloud solution that is a partnership with Intermedia. So they sent this out and they said, throughout this partnership, they said, we have worked to deliver cutting edge UCaaS and CCaaS solutions under the NEC's Univerge Blue brand. These solutions include business phone, video meetings, chat, SMS, contact center, multi-channel archiving, file sync and share, and more, all delivered in one tightly integrated, and here's the magic word, AI-powered cloud platform. They also have developed a bridge, and what this bridge is, it's called Univerge Blue Connect Bridge, and this enables NEC on-premise phone customers to gain some of the features and benefits of a full cloud UCaaS while remaining on premise. Now, they're super excited. They believe, obviously, in the strength and value of this collaboration as they wind down. And of course, their focus is going to be on Univerge Blue, and they're going to continue to evolve, enhance, and grow in that essence. Now, what does that say? So if you have a NEC legacy on-prem phone system and you are not using the bridge and you are not having that, here are some things you need to notate. So first and foremost, some NEC phone systems have been end of life for several years. So they're probably going to go out the door a lot quicker. And that is the XN120s and the SL1100s. Now, some other key points. So this notice is also going to affect in any NEC SL2100s, NEC SV9100s, and NEC 3C phone systems as well. Key dates to remember. So end of new deliveries. What does that mean? That means this will be the last date that anyone can order new products for systems. And that is going to be December 31st, 2024, which, if the rest of this year goes like the first of this year, it's going to be here before you know it. Of course, end of shipment is anything that was ordered prior to the end of new deliveries would be March 31st, 2025. And then end of service. So what does that mean? That means end of technical support assistance for phone systems, as well as end of technical support for any NEC software related to their on-prem phone system is going to be on or about March 31st, 2026. Now, obviously, some of these dates can be subject to change. And I have some previous experience with this because I actually used to work at an on-prem phone system dealer. And when I was there, we went through Toshiba exiting out of the North American market, which went way faster than this. Now, obviously, at the point that Toshiba or any brand says we are obviously they were completely moving out of the market, or with NEC saying, hey, on-prem phone system, there's going to be this, I like to say quick, but this very quick, people are either going to go, okay, so we've been selling on-prem phone systems to our customers and we're going to purchase a ton of phones so that we have them to take care of our customers, and you're going to see that. At some point, however, you're going to notice that there is going to be all refurbished phones, like no new phones for your system. And I know I say this a lot, and I've said it on previous podcasts. This is why I think it's very important that if you have an on-prem phone system, or if you have even an older phone system, and I'll even put this as if you have a phone system you're not super in love with, but you're under contract with, it's better to start looking for how you want to switch whatever solution prior to the necessity of having to do that. And that is because when you're not in a situation where either your phone system is down or your contract's going to be up in 2 months and you have to either renew or do something, you have a chance to really look at and make sure that the solution you're looking at is going to be what fits you best, to take a term from a older company that doesn't exist anymore. That's why I say, if you have an NEC on-prem phone system, if you are looking to make a change, you want to try to start with one of my customers. We actually started a year in advance, and they had a very, we'll say, more technical, different network configuration. So it was very important that whatever we went to would be a smooth transition and could handle everything that they needed. So, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. So have a plan, start moving, going forward with the process. Now, I did say that we're going to look at some of the main reasons that NEC made this decision. And obviously, with everyone wanting to digitally transfer and go into the cloud, that's kind of just going to be, that's out there. We all know it. Everybody wants to get to the cloud. But let's talk about some of the typical problems that you have with an on-prem phone system. And problem number one is, of course, it costs more than you think. Number two, it's a depreciating asset. Number three, a lot of times, unless you have some kind of a bridge to connect it with some of the cloud features, it's voice only. And in this day and age, we all know customers, people, yourself, they want to do chats, they want to do text messaging. There's a whole plethora of ways to communicate with your clients that maybe wasn't really thought of or wasn't a huge push when you got your phone system. It doesn't allow employees to be as productive outside of the office. It's not designed for great customer experience. You're not going to have the availability to the newest technology. We just talked about that. NEC is not going to be working on innovating or updating their older systems. They're only from here on out going to innovate with Univerge Blue. And if they come out with something different, like let's say Univerge Blue, I don't know, 5.0 or whatever, that's what they're going to go to. So, it's complex, it's expensive, and it's time consuming to install and maintain. And I can't tell you the number of times that I've interacted with a client that is like, oh my gosh, just to change our voicemail, it's like, I need a telephony engineering degree. On some of these older phone systems, they're just not, it's not like, okay, press button or call in, or we've all, for most of us, we have, whether it's an iPhone through AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, whomever it may be, you just go in and you're like, we can do this, and hit voicemail and it works. And, you want things to be simple. Everybody wants it to be as simple as possible. So let's talk about this. So a lot of times, people who have an on-premise phone system have this idea that, okay, so we're going to switch and have monthly reoccurring charge, and this is going to be way more expensive. But let's talk about this. So on average, give or take, you're looking at about $25 per user for that mobile device. And obviously, this is an average. This is not the end all be all. And this is, of course, for unified communications as a service. So one of the things we discussed is the idea that switching from an on-prem phone system that you, in essence, you pay for the phone system once, but you're still paying to have a monthly phone service, is moving to the cloud or moving to Unicast is going to be way more expensive. So let's talk about that. So number one, you're going to have one price generally per user. And this is going to be kind of an average. This is not the end all be all. Some are more, some are less. There's different options. And this is going to be for your traditional Unicast platforms. You're looking about $25 per user per month. Now let's compare that to an on-prem phone system. So if you look at an on-prem phone system and you've got your phone line, you're paying for your warranty and your maintenance, you're looking at your parts and your software. And a lot of times people pay this once a year, and then you've got, let's say, a company's paid cell phone that you're paying for, that's going to be additional right there, as well as they're paying for online meetings, file store and share, and of course some type of business instant messaging, which can be Slack and can be whatever. So you're looking at the least expensive is like $18 per user, or up into about $138 per user. And that's when you think about, the company is either reimbursing or paying for their cell phone, which can be anywhere from $50 to $70, and you've got all these little things that are adding up. So first and foremost, in the long run, it's going to save you money. Now, secondly, of course, we talk about depreciation, and that is your on-prem phone system is never going to be as good as the day you bought it, right? So your cloud phone system is going to be able to constantly evolve. You're going to be able to take advantage of technologies such as AI. There's no expansive, like, okay, you've got to get this software and do this maintenance contract and do this replacement and all. It can get pretty crazy when you talk about this. Obviously, we're going to talk about the fact that we have a huge mobile workforce now. And one of the benefits of having, a cloud phone system is that it can go anywhere that your employees you want to work from, work there, work remote, just be out and about. You're not stuck. The other thing is, of course, you're going to have the option for voice, text, SMS, and of course, video. And talking about text enabled things. So, in case you're curious, statistics are 90% of customers prefer text message over direct phone calls. Now, let's be honest, that client that they're talking about right here is not my mom. My mom's almost 80. She would rather you pick up the phone and call her. But I will tell you this, she does check her text messages. She really does. And your on-prem phone system, unless you have some kind of bridge, is not going to be able to do that. And so with 90% of customers preferring to interact with you in that way and being able to send out reminders, being able to do all that, that makes your phone system help. It's going to help on your ROI. It's helping to improve your customer service. And of course, you're interacting with your clients in a way that they want to. We touched on this in the pricing, and that is if you have employees that have a personal cell phone that you are either reimbursing them from or anything, what I like to talk to people about is think about the fact that you could switch this and give them a mobile app that they can use, number one. And, one of the things that I talk about is we all want our employees to stay forever and ever, but what happens when they move, or what happens when you're in a industry where you have a lot of movement around? If your employees are giving out their personal cell phone number, then when they leave, customers are still going to call them on that number 9 times out of 10. And I want you to sit back and think, how many people do you interact with, whether it's sales, whether, it really is going to be sales based, but let's say car dealerships, or where you interact with that particular person and you text message them and you call them, and what happens when they leave? I mean, I've personally experienced it. I used to have a gentleman that sold cars through Toyota, and I had his cell phone number, and I messaged him when we were ready to get a new car. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't work there anymore." And a benefit to the company that he did work out, he wasn't doing car sales anymore at all, but he gave me someone else's number. But what if he'd been at a different dealership and been like, "Oh my gosh, I know you're interested in looking at a Toyota, or, but I'm over here at VW now, or I'm over here at Nissan," and if it's something, like, let's say oil field tools, anything related to that, it's like now they're at a company that sells the exact same thing. And they're like, "You're interested in getting that, but now look." So that's something to think about when you look at it. And of course, I keep saying one of the big things is a mobile app. And that, to me, I think it's worth its weight in gold, because number one, you're able to have all your calls, your contact, instant messaging, be able to do meetings, file share, like everything in one app from your phone or your desktop, either way. That's a huge thing. That's not to mention, we've touched on it just a little bit, but you can provide your customers the best customer experience. And you can do that because obviously you have a phone number for them to call. but also you have here text, and you have like a chat bot on your website, and all of that is connected through your system. And what's cool is if you call and let's say you have particular numbers, you can route that to a particular phone group or to a particular, let's say you're pushing one particular item or one particular service, and you want to make sure that it's always going through to that. So you can set it up where this phone number, when someone calls it, it always goes through here. You can receive text, so you can automatically text back and forth. You can receive an email and automatically email back and forth. The big thing is with, between the chatbots and text message, you can provide customers a way to have self-service options. You can have a way to always route the customers to the right person quickly, which is going to be huge. You can know how many missed calls you have and how to fix it. And of course, you can use automated tools to help coach and ensure, high quality interactions. And of course, I would be remiss if we did not talk about the fact that I don't think that you can look anywhere without talking about AI. And let's be completely honest, if you bought your phone system in 2018, that system is probably, if it's on prem especially, is not going to be able to have the new capabilities that exist only in the cloud. So, such as, of course, AI to help run your business. And of course, my personal favorite, one of the things that I actually love is AI transcription for meetings and calls. And one of the things the phone system that I work with has where if I'm on a call and it's transcribing it and I say, okay, I will, or the next steps are, it'll actually send me a follow up and say, here's the things that you talked about. Here's the things that you need to do. And how does that help? So that improves your productivity. It helps you be able to focus and know what was talked about, and you have better documentation. So awesome features right there. And of course, if you're looking into more of the contact center space, you're going to have the ability, of course, to record, to have transcriptions, and even to have sentiment analysis. And all of that can be done through AI and through different generated things. But why is it so important? It's because that gives you a chance, number one, to work with your employees and coach them, but it also gives you an idea about like what types of interactions are we having. Are we having the same issue called in about a product multiple times? You'll be able to have the analytics behind it. And of course, I would be absolutely remiss if not talking about this. I talked about earlier that one of my on-prem customers was like, I need a telephony engineering degree just to change my voicemail. So let's talk about that. So if you have a traditional prem-based phone system, traditionally you're having to have a specialized technician come up to install, maintain, or make changes, and sometimes even just move a phone from one office to the next, which can be a huge inconvenience. You have to schedule that service. A lot of times you have to have someone come out, and that can take time. Equipment support can be expensive. Also, the pricing of some of the equipment can be way more expensive than they are now. And of course, going back to that, adding, changing, deleting users usually means having someone come out. Whereas when you're working with a cloud-based phone system, they're easy to set up. I mean, not that everybody's going to do this, but I've seen in let's say a dire situation, we've been able to get phones forwarded and have a cloud-based phone system set up in a day. That's not saying we've ported numbers over, we've had to forward things, but we've been able in 24 hours to get them up and running and going again. Of course, you're going to have high quality phone or headset 9 times out of 10, depending on the contract you sign, you're going to get those for free, or it's going to be a very minimal rental fee that you're paying. Of course, the plugs can a lot of times plug into your existing internet connections, or of course, a lot of them use Wi-Fi. And that's one thing that I really try with all my clients is to make sure that their phone is Wi-Fi enabled. And even if, let's say you got a cloud-based phone system a couple of years ago and it's not Wi-Fi, and you move someone into an office where the cabling is not where you need it to be, a lot of times you can get a Wi-Fi dongle for that. The entire setup process takes hours, not weeks. And then adding, changing, and deleting users usually takes minutes. And traditionally, it's something, if you don't have anyone trained on the back end or what I call the dashboard of the phone system, you can call in through customer service and have it done really quickly. You're not having to wait for a technician to come out. You're not having to go in and reprogram the phone system. Everything's really fast. And of course, just to go back over that, so the 7 different things that we talked about is when you move to cloud, you're not having to buy, hardware, phone lines, long distance, maintenance support cost. Instead of it depreciating, it's just going to get better and better. Obviously, it's not voice only. You're going to have voice, chat, video, and SMS. You're going to be able to connect to your employees at the office, the home, mobile, wherever work is being done. You're going to improve your customer service experience, customer service experience, because you're going to allow your customers communicate with your business the way they want. So whether that's chatbot, emails, text messaging, they're going to be able to do that. And of course, you're going to be able to take advantage of AI and analytics. And last but not least, instead of it being complex, expensive, and time consuming to install and maintain, you're going to have a quick, easy setup, and it's going to come with amazing new phones that have all the bells, whistles, and features. So, those are all the reasons that NEC has made the decision to be like, all right, we're sunsetting. But it's also the reasons that you want to look into if you have an on-prem phone system is, why would I want to change? Why would I want to look for a cloud-based phone system? And I can tell you, we've worked with some pretty complex phone systems where we've had to go in and really not only look at how their existing phone system is set up, but look at their network, and we've still been able to transition over. So I'm going to say it again for emphasis and as a reminder. Number one, you want to look into these because it's going to allow you to have the latest and greatest technology. And unlike your traditional on-prem phone system, you're not looking at the same type of maintenance, software issues, different upgrades that you would have to pay for. And of course, last but not least, they're going to allow you to connect with your customers how they want to connect. So whether that's chat, voice, video, it's going to allow you to really digitally transform your communications. And I think that's what it's all about. So we're going to talk with some great suppliers this month. I'm super excited. We're going to go over different automations. We're going to talk about the difference the AI can make. And I just hope you'll join us for this series. Thank you guys. And don't forget to like and subscribe because we come out with a new episode every week. Thank you.